Hey guys, this is Doug with Cold War Collectors, and today I'm going to be talking about Splatter KLMK. Now, Splatter KLMK is the less common relative of KLMK that's digitalized, obviously. Now, Splatter KLMK was designed to replace MK, MMK, TTS MMK, and some other various patterns, such as the leaf pattern. Now, MK is the amoeba pattern, TTS MMK is basically what they call parsley with the amoeba. It was also meant to replace the digitalized parsley and amoeba to an extent, but it wasn't necessarily supposed to completely eliminate it because it was still going to be used because it was digitalized. However, it was also meant to replace the rain suit, which they also call the grass suit, it's basically an amoeba suit that's green and it has these little tarsals that look like glass, and it was probably one of the first designed Soviet camouflage patterns, but amoeba usually takes that title. Now, Splatter KLMK, they call it that because unlike regular KLMK, I'll show you why. It's not digitalized, sorry. Now, this one is dated 1963 and it's size free. It has the original mask as well, which is usually rare. Now, the tightening string on the top is green like the big leaf camouflage, which they nickname it. The elastic on the back of the mask is the white elastic that's the same on the regular KLMK. Now, the thing that's interesting about it, it has the night part of it that regular digital KLMK has. It has slight imprints of the pattern. You can't really see them that well. I'll just bring it up again so that you can hopefully see them. But you can see them now, but it has this grid. Now, this is what they call the butt flap. That's basically so you could use, take off, so you wouldn't have to take off the entire oversuit if you had to use the restroom. Well, the bathroom, sorry. Now, this is for the mask. This is a pocket for the mask when you would put it inside out during night missions. Now, this was designed to be worn as an oversuit. Now, a lot of people say KLMK was only issued to snipers. No, that's completely incorrect. In the 1969 regulations, all troops who would have the red insignia would be issued an oversuit. Ones who had the subdued would not. I assume it would have been the same with the M43 regulations. However, I've seen an entire platoon that was issued TTS MMK stair step and amoeba as well as this. Now I'm just showing you the quote-unquote butt flap. This is another pocket so that you could put the mask in. It has foliage loops. This is held in by buttons. It has more foliage loops. The arm pad is the elbow is reinforced as well as the knee. The knee has this V chevron that the M43 and M35 uniform had. However, the M35 was not used post-war. It has discoloration, I assume, from light, because that light was in the same way. Well, that light discoloration was in the same way of how I got it. Now, most of the buttons all the buttons are metal. Some are in better condition than the other ones. Now, this has a button fly, which is reversible. It comes up to about the waist. Now, keep in mind, this is an oversuit, so it's meant to be baggy. Also, the other good thing about it being baggy, it breaks up the silhouette at night, in addition to having the anti-night vision. But these were replaced by the mid-60s by digitalized KLMK. Mainly by 68 was when they started issuing digitalized KLMK widespread, and these died out by 69. So these are rather rare to find. Now, another thing that's interesting about this, these types were not exported, as far as I know. Digital KLMK was exported. Now, there's rumors saying that Soviet advisors in Cuba would have been issued this, but I don't think they would have been. Some of them would have had the tropical M43, but I doubt they would have had this pattern. Another thing that's interesting about this is the exact same cut as regular digital KLMK. So basically, digital KLMK was just a digitalization version of this. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this, as I stated before, this was meant to replace the older World War II types of camouflages. However, it didn't necessarily replace some of the two-suit camouflages like TTS MMK. That was still in use up until the late 60s, but I've seen pictures of the MVD using it in 1990. Now, with that exception, there's always some type of exception. There's even been recorded cases of amoeba camouflage, which is MK and MMK, being used in the First Chechen War, but I assume those were private purchases, or they could have been whatever was issued to the troops. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this pattern also has slip pockets so you can access your pockets. Basically, these are not actual pockets. These are so you can access your uniform pockets. Doesn't have epaulets. The only ones that had epaulets were Afghan modified ones, but the Afghans never modified this pattern. They modified the digitalized KLMK. And I believe that is probably all.